In this video, we're going to have a look at solving problems with Pythagoras to find an unknown variable. So by the end of the video, you'll be able to solve a problem using Pythagoras' theorem. So we want to calculate the value of the polynomial correct to 2 decimal places in the triangle below. So we've got our right angle triangle and we've got a hypotenuse of 78. Then we've got a side of 3x and we've got a second side of 2x. And we want to work out what our x value is going to be. So the first step is going to be to write the formula that's applicable to the question, which is Pythagoras' theory. So our formula is going to be c squared equals a squared plus b squared. Now, some of you would have looked at the question and just given up because you think it is too hard. But one of the important skills in maths is going to be to give it a go. You might be able to get to the answer, you might be able to get partway to the answer. But if you give up when you look at the question, you won't be able to get any marks on your exam. So it's best to be able to give it a go. The best way of giving it a go is thinking about what type of maths it's going to relate to, write a formula, and then have a look to see what you can substitute into the formula. So here it's Pythagoras' theory. So we can go ahead and write our Pythagoras' theory formula and then look to substitute in our amounts into the formula. So we have got our C value, which is 78. We've got an A value, which can be 3x or 2x. And we've got a B value, which will be 3x or 2x. So putting in my values into the question, 78 squared is going to equal to 2x squared plus 3x squared. So I can keep going with my calculations. So 78 squared is going to be 6,084. 2x squared is going to equal to 4x squared because I've got to square both terms inside the bracket. And 3x squared is going to equal to 9x squared. So I can simplify that by collecting my like terms. So 6,084 is going to equal to 13x squared. Now I can rearrange that equation and be able to solve a value for x. First, I need to go ahead and divide both sides by 13. So 13x squared divided by 13 and 6,084 divided by 13. So that gives me a value for x squared. Now to get x by itself, I need to square root x squared. So I need to do that to both sides. So my x value is going to equal to the square root of 6,084 divided by 13. So putting that into the calculator, my x value is going to be 21.63. So that's an example of how we can find an unknown variable using Pythagoras' theorem. Starting off with writing the formula, substituting in the values, and then working through to find the value of x by using our knowledge of how to solve an equation that we learnt in the beginning of term 1. So let's have a look at a second example. It's going to be the same, so we want to follow the same process. So I've got a hypotenuse of 25, I've got a smaller side of 4x, and then I've got a second smaller side of x. So starting off with my formula, c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. Substituting in the values, so 25 squared is going to equal to 4x squared plus x squared. So 25 squared is 625, 4x squared is 16x squared, and x squared is x squared. So collecting my like terms, 625 is going to equal to 17x squared. So now I can solve for x. First step I need to do is divide both sides by 17. So x squared is going to equal to 625 divided by 17. So then I square root both sides to get x by itself. So x is going to equal to the square root of 625 divided by 17, which is equal to 6.06. So x is equal to 6.06. So there are a couple of examples of how we can solve a problem involving Pythagoras' theory to work out an unknown variable that is provided to us.